Chosen one, listen closely. They thought they could dim your light, but all they did was make it shine brighter. Your enemies planned to tear you down with whispers and rumors, thinking they'd find flaws to expose. But when they sent someone to dig into your life, they didn't find shadows, they found brilliance. Psalm 37:6 says, "He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun." That's exactly what happened here. Their scheme to tarnish your name only polished it to a glow they can't ignore. Stay with me, because this story isn't just about their failure. It's about your victory, written by the truth you've lived. Picture this. They hired someone to snoop around, expecting to uncover secrets that would ruin you. They were sure the world would turn against you once their lies took root. But when the investigator started asking questions, he didn't find dirt. He found diamonds. Your coworkers spoke of your hard work. Your friends praised your loyalty. Even strangers who barely knew you said, "They're different. They're real." That's the kind of truth that stings your enemies the most, because it proves you're not just good, you're untouchable. Here's a truth that hits hard. Studies show over 70% of gossip falls apart when people check the facts. Lies scream loud, but truth whispers stronger. Your enemies thought they could control the story, but the moment real voices spoke up, their plan crumbled. They wanted to bury you, but instead, your name rose like a sunrise, impossible to hide. Thank you for showing up today, Chosen One. Your strength inspires us all. If this message speaks to you, hit that like button and subscribe to join this movement of truth. Let's keep spreading this light together. Now let's dive deeper into how their scheme backfired. Your enemies thought they'd find cracks in your foundation, but all they discovered was a fortress. They sent their investigator like a miner searching for flaws, certain they'd unearth something to shame you. But every shovel they swung hit solid ground. Your life wasn't built on sand. It was built on integrity, respect, and consistency. Imagine their shock when the people they questioned didn't spill gossip. They shared stories of your strength. That's the kind of plot twist that burns their pride to ashes. Think about it. They were convinced you were hiding something, a mistake, a scandal, anything they could twist into a weapon. But the deeper they dug, the more they found your roots. Kindness you showed when no one was watching, discipline you carried through tough times, and a reputation that stood tall. The Bible reminds us, in Proverbs 22:1, "A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold." Your good name wasn't just a shield, it was a sword that cut through their lies. Why does this make them so angry? Because they bet everything on you being fake. They thought your calm was a mask, your silence a sign of weakness. But when the truth came out, it wasn't just that you were innocent. It was that you were undeniable. Your coworkers didn't just defend you, they confirmed your work ethic. Your friends didn't just support you, they testified to your heart. Even those who didn't know you well admitted you carried yourself with purpose. That's not luck, Chosen One. That's the universe aligning to show the world who you really are. If you're feeling this, drop a 777 in the comments to claim this victory. And if you want to support this mission to spread truth, a quick like or super thanks keeps this light shining. Let's keep going, because the story gets even better. They thought the streets would carry their lies, but the streets sang your praises instead. Your enemies believed they could spread rumors like wildfire, burning your reputation into the ground. But when the investigator walked those streets, He didn't hear whispers of scandal. He heard echoes of respect. Imagine their faces when they realized the very people they counted on to tear you down were lifting you up. That's the kind of defeat that leaves them speechless. Here's a fact that stings them. Research shows lies don't last long when real people start talking. Gossip might spread fast, but truth spreads stronger. Your enemies thought they could control what people said about you, but the streets had a different story. The barista who served you coffee said you were kind. The coworker who rarely spoke to you said you were focused. Even the stranger who crossed your path once said, "You left a good vibe." That's not just a coincidence, that's the mark of a life lived right. Why does this hurt them so much? Because they needed chaos to win. They needed people to doubt you, to question your character. But when even strangers spoke well of you, their lies had nowhere to hide. You didn't have to shout your truth. It was already written in the way you moved through the world. Your enemies thought they could rewrite your story, but the streets proved them wrong. They didn't just lose the fight. They lost the audience. Keep watching, Chosen One, because this is only the beginning. Hit that subscribe button if you're ready to see how their plan fell apart piece by piece. They wanted to expose you, but all they did was expose themselves. Your enemies thought their investigation would put a spotlight on your flaws, but it turned the light back on them. Every question they asked, every person they talked to, only showed how solid you are and how shaky they are. They didn't find skeletons in your closet. They found a mirror reflecting their own jealousy. That's the kind of truth that cuts deep. Picture this. They sent their investigator out like a detective. Sure, they'd find evidence to drag you down. But every door he knocked on opened to stories of your strength, your calm under pressure, your kindness in tough moments, your refusal to play dirty games. It all came back like a boomerang, hitting them where it hurts most. The Bible says in Psalm 34:18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Your steady spirit didn't just save you, it exposed their broken motives. Here's why they're furious. Every compliment about you was a reminder of what they lack. When people praised your patience, it highlighted their impulsiveness. When they admired your honesty, it exposed their deceit. They didn't just fail to tear you down, they built you up higher. Their plan backfired so hard it became their own humiliation. They thought they were writing your downfall, but they ended up writing their own. If this resonates, smash that like button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. We're not done yet. Let's see how their stage collapsed. They thought they could control the narrative, but your truth stole the pen. Your enemies weren't just fighting you, they were fighting to shape how the world sees you. They spread rumors, whispered doubts, and hoped their version of you would stick. But when the investigators started asking questions, their story fell apart. The truth wasn't just stronger, it was louder, and that's what broke them. Imagine them scripting a play where you're the villain, setting the stage for your downfall. They thought they had the audience hooked, ready to believe their lies. But when the curtain lifted, the spotlight didn't show a villain. It showed a hero. Your coworkers, your friends, even people who barely knew you stepped up to say, "That's not who they are." Their words weren't rehearsed. They were real. And that reality shattered the fiction your enemies tried to sell. Here's a fact that crushed them. Lies don't hold up when too many voices tell the truth. The more people the investigator asked, the clearer it became. You're not what they said. You're steady. You're kind. You're real. They thought they could rewrite your story, but your life had already written a better one. Their stage didn't just crack, it collapsed under the weight of your truth. Drop a 777 in the comments if you're ready for the next part. And if you're with us, hit subscribe to stay in this fight for truth. Let's keep going. Chosen One, you're still here, and that's no accident. Your enemies thought they could rewrite your story, but the truth you've lived is a book they can't edit. They sent their investigator to dig up dirt, believing they'd find something to twist against you. But instead of shadows, they found a spotlight on your strength. The Bible says in Psalm 27:1, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" That light didn't just protect you, it exposed their schemes. Stick with me, because this is where their plan starts to unravel, and your victory shines even brighter. Imagine them sitting back, smirking, thinking their whispers had already won. They were sure the investigator would come back with stories to smear you. But every person he talked to, your coworkers, your neighbors, even folks who only met you once, had nothing but good to say. "They're solid," one said. "Always respectful," another added. "Never caused trouble," said someone who barely knew you. "That's not just talk, Chosen One. That's the truth you planted long ago, growing strong while they were busy plotting." Here's a fact that stings them. Research shows most rumors die when people see the real you. Lies need darkness to grow, but your life was a beacon they couldn't dim. They thought they'd find cracks in your character, but all they found was a foundation too strong to shake. Your enemies wanted chaos, but you gave them order. They want scandal, but you gave them respect. And that's why they're fuming. Because their lies didn't just fail, they backfired in front of everyone. If this is hitting home, drop a 777 in the comments to claim this moment. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep this truth spreading. Let's dive deeper into how their plan fell apart. They thought they could drown your name in rumors, but even strangers carried your truth. Your enemies were counting on people who didn't know you well to stay quiet or join their lies. But when the investigator asked around, those strangers didn't hesitate. They spoke up for you. "They're calm," one said. "Always polite," another added. "That's the kind of power you have, Chosen One. Your life leaves a mark so strong, even passers-by can't ignore it." Picture this. Your enemies thought they'd control the crowd, like they were directing a movie where you're the bad guy. But when the camera rolled, the extras they counted on didn't follow their script. Instead, they told a story of your kindness, your focus, your quiet strength. It wasn't because they owed you anything. They just couldn't lie about what they'd seen. Proverbs 3:4 says, "Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man." That's exactly what you did, and it's why their plan crumbled. Why does this burn them so much? Because strangers have no reason to fake it. They're not your friends or your family. They're just people who crossed your path. Yet they saw something real in you, something your enemies can't twist. That's not just a win, it's a knockout. They thought they could rewrite your story, but the truth was already written in the hearts of everyone you've met. They laughed at your quiet, thinking it was weakness. But your silence was a weapon they couldn't dodge. Your enemies thought you'd crack under their pressure, that you'd lash out and give them something to use against you. But you stayed calm, stayed steady, and let the truth do the talking. That's what broke them, Chosen One. Your silence wasn't surrender, it was strategy. Imagine them waiting for you to fight back, hoping you'd argue or defend yourself so they could twist your words. But you didn't give them that chance. You let their lies run wild, knowing the truth would catch up. And when the investigator came back with stories of your strength, your silence became their nightmare. Here's a fact that hurts them. Studies show people who stay calm under attack are harder to smear because lies need a reaction to grow. You gave them nothing, and that nothing was everything. Your silence forced them to face the truth without distraction. Every person who spoke for you, your coworkers, your friends, even strangers, didn't need your words to know you were real. They saw it in how you carried yourself, how you stayed above the drama. That's why they're angry now. They mocked your quiet, but it turned out to be the loudest answer they'll ever hear. They shot their arrows, but your reputation was a shield they couldn't pierce. Your enemies thought they could tear you down with gossip, but every choice you made, every kind word, every steady step, built a wall of protection around you. When the investigator came looking, he didn't find flaws. He found armor forged from years of living right. Picture this. They aimed their rumors like darts. Sure, they'd hit a weak spot. But every dart bounced off, flattened by the truth. Your coworkers didn't just clear your name, they praised your work. Your friends didn't just defend you, they celebrated your heart. Even strangers said you stood out for all the right reasons. That's not luck, chosen one. That's the shield you built without even trying, just by being you. Here's a truth that stings them. People with consistent lives are 3 times harder to discredit. Why? Because your actions leave a trail no lie can erase. You didn't chase attention or fake perfection. You just lived with purpose. And when the world saw that, their arrows turned to dust. They didn't just lose the fight. They lost to a shield they didn't even know you had. If you're feeling this, hit that like button and drop a 777 in the comments. Subscribe if you're ready to see how their lies turned into your victory. Let's keep going. Chosen one, you're still here, and that's proof the universe is on your side. Your enemies thought they could right your defeat, but their own words turned against them. They sent someone to dig up flaws, hoping to bury your name in shame. But every question they asked only lifted you higher, exposing their own desperation. The Bible says in Psalm 23:5, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." That table is set, and their plan is crumbling right in front of them. Stay with me, because this is where their lies start to choke them, and your truth shines even brighter. Imagine them plotting in secret, thinking they'd outsmart you with whispers and rumors. They were sure their investigator would find something, anything, to make you look bad. But when he came back, he didn't bring dirt. He brought stories of your strength, your kindness, your steady heart. Every person he talked to, from coworkers to strangers, had nothing but respect to share. That's not just a win, chosen one. That's a knockout punch they never saw coming. Here's a fact that burns them. Lies fall apart when too many people tell the truth. Studies show that false stories can't survive when real voices step up. Your enemies thought they could control the narrative, but the truth was already out there, written in the way you live. They didn't just fail. They handed you a victory they can't take back. If this is speaking to you, drop a 777 in the comments and hit that like button. Subscribe to keep this light spreading. Let's dive into how their scheme turned into their own funeral. They called you boring, but your steady life became the wall they couldn't climb. Your enemies mocked your quiet routines, your focus, your refusal to chase drama. They thought your calm was a weakness, something they could exploit. But when the investigator came looking, your so-called boring life was the very thing that buried their lies. They needed chaos to win, but you gave them order, and that order was their undoing. Picture this. They handed the investigator a flashlight. Sure, he'd find shadows in your past. But all he found was a clear path. Your steady steps, your kind choices, your refusal to play their games. Your coworkers said you showed up every day with purpose. Your friends said you stayed true even when times got tough. Even strangers noticed you didn't stir trouble. That's not boring, chosen one. That's powerful. Proverbs 16:7 says, "When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him." Your ways didn't just please, they protected. Here's why this stings them. A steady life leaves no room for lies. Research shows people with consistent habits are harder to frame because there's nothing messy to twist. You didn't give them drama to work with, so their rumors had no fuel. They laughed at your quiet, but that quiet became the loudest answer they'll ever hear. They wanted a scandal, but your life was a fortress, and their lies couldn't break through. They thought their investigator would ruin you, but he ended up exposing them. Your enemies sent someone to hunt for your flaws, certain they'd find something to tear you down. But instead of finding your darkness, he uncovered theirs. Every question he asked showed the world how desperate they were to paint you as something you're not. That's the kind of truth that turns their own weapons against them. Imagine them waiting, rubbing their hands, thinking the investigator's report would be their victory. But when he came back, his words were a mirror, reflecting their own jealousy. He found no lies in your life, just stories of your strength. Your coworkers talked about your hard work. Your friends shared your loyalty. Even people who barely knew you said you were different, in a good way. That wasn't just a report. It was a verdict, and it wasn't against you. Here's a fact that cuts them deep. When lies face the truth, they crumble fast. Studies show false stories collapse when too many voices agree on what's real. Your enemies thought they could control the story, but the truth was too strong. They didn't just lose, they showed the world their own flaws. Their investigator didn't find your shame. He found their obsession, and now they're the ones scrambling to explain. They thought you were shallow, but your roots broke their tools. Your enemies saw your calm and thought it was fake, something they could rip apart. They sent their investigator to pull you up like a weed, sure they'd find weak ground. But the deeper they dug, the stronger your foundation stood, built on respect, trust, and a life lived right. That's the kind of strength that leaves them speechless. Picture this. They came with shovels ready to tear you down, but every swing hit rock-solid truth. Your coworkers didn't just defend you, they praised your focus. Your friends didn't just stand by you, they celebrated your heart. Even strangers said you left a good mark. That's not shallow, chosen one. That's a foundation too deep to shake. Psalm 1:3 says, "That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season." Your roots held strong, and their lies couldn't touch you. Why does this hurt them so much? Because they needed you to be weak to feel strong. But your life showed a strength they can't match. Research shows people hesitate to lie about those they respect, because respect is a line they don't want to cross. Your enemies thought they could uproot you, but your roots were too deep, and their shovels snapped in defeat. Chosen one, you're still here, and that's a sign you're unstoppable. Your enemies thought they could trap you in their web of lies, but every thread they spun unraveled when the truth stepped in. They sent an investigator to tear you down, but all they did was build you up. The Bible says in Isaiah 54:17, No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. That's exactly what happened. Their weapons turned to dust, and your truth stood tall. Stay with me, because this is where their plan crumbles completely, and your light shines brighter than ever. Picture them scheming, thinking they'd corner you with rumors. They were sure their investigator would find something to make you look bad, a mistake, a flaw, anything to twist into a story. But when he came back, he didn't bring a single speck of dirt. Instead, he carried stories of your heart, your strength, your unshakable calm. Your co-workers said you worked hard without complaining. Your friends said you stayed loyal through thick and thin. Even strangers said you had a vibe that stood out. That's not just a defense, Chosen One. That's a crown they accidentally placed on your head. Here's a truth that stings them. Lies can't survive when the truth is this loud. Research shows that false stories collapse when too many people speak from what they've seen. Your enemies thought they could control the narrative, but your life had already written a better one. They didn't just lose, they gave you a stage to shine. If this is firing you up, drop a text 777 in the comments and smash that like button. Subscribe to keep this truth moving forward. Let's dive into how their investigation became their defeat. They wanted a quick check to ruin you, but they got a courtroom where truth won. Your enemies thought their investigator would dig up something to shame you, but every question he asked turned into evidence of your strength. They didn't realize they weren't just checking your past. They were putting their lives on trial. And in that trial, your life was the witness that shut them down. Imagine this. They set up a stage, thinking they'd be the judge and jury, ready to call you guilty. But when the investigator started talking to people, the script flipped. Every person he asked, your coworkers, your friends, even folks who barely knew you, had receipts of your character. They're always respectful, one said. They stay focused, another added. They don't mess with drama, said someone who only met you once. And that's not just testimony, it's proof your life speaks louder than their lies. Here's a fact that burns them. Consistent behavior builds trust that lies can't break. Studies show that people who live steady lives are nearly impossible to discredit because their actions match their reputation. Your enemies thought they'd find chaos, but they found order. They wanted a guilty verdict, but the truth declared you innocent, and them guilty of envy. They didn't just lose the investigation, they lost the whole case, and now they're the ones on trial in the eyes of the world. They bet on your silence, thinking it meant you were weak. But your quiet was a blade that sliced through their lies. Your enemies thought you'd fight back, give them something to twist, but you stayed calm, letting the truth do the work. That silence wasn't surrender, it was strategy, and it crushed them. Picture them waiting for you to snap, hoping you'd argue or lash out so they could call you unstable. But you didn't give them a single word to use against you. You let their rumors run wild, knowing the truth would catch up. And when the investigator came back with stories of your strength, your silence became their worst nightmare. Proverbs 17:28 says, "Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." Your silence didn't just make you wise, it made you untouchable. Why does this make them so mad? Because silence forces lies to stand alone. Research shows that people who don't react to gossip are harder to smear because lies need fuel to spread. You gave them nothing, and that nothing was everything. Your co-workers, your friends, even strangers spoke for you, not because you asked, but because your life left a mark they couldn't ignore. Your silence wasn't weak. It was the loudest victory they'll ever face. They wrote you as the villain, But the truth turned you into the hero. Your enemies thought they had the story all figured out. Paint you as trouble, spread whispers, and watch you fall. But when the investigators started asking questions, their script fell apart. The truth didn't just clear your name, it flipped their story upside down, leaving them as the fools in their own tale. Imagine them setting up a movie where you're the bad guy, thinking the audience would cheer for your downfall. But when the lights came on, the plot twisted. Your coworkers didn't talk about drama, they praised your focus. Your friends didn't share gossip, they shared your loyalty. Even strangers said you stood out for all the right reasons. That's not just a plot twist, chosen one. That's a whole new story, and it's yours. Here's a truth that breaks them. Lies can't stand when the truth has too many witnesses. Studies show that false narratives crumble when real people speak up with consistent stories. Your enemies thought they could shape how the world sees you, but your life had already written the truth. They didn't just lose the script, they lost the whole show. You became the hero they never saw coming, and their lies became the punchline. Chosen one, you've made it to the end, and that's no small thing. Your enemies thought they could bury you in lies, but your truth rose like a sunrise they couldn't stop. They sent an investigator to dim your light, but every step he took only made it shine brighter. The Bible says in Matthew 5:16, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." That's exactly what you did. Your life became a beacon that burned through their schemes. Stay with me for this final part, because this is where their defeat becomes your triumph and your story inspires the world. Picture them now, stunned and silent, their plan in pieces. They thought their whispers would tear you down, but every person the investigator asked, your coworkers, your friends, even strangers, spoke of your strength, your kindness, your unshakable heart. They didn't find flaws. They found a legacy you built without even trying. That's not just a victory, chosen one. That's a masterpiece painted by the way you live. Their lies didn't just fail, they turned into a spotlight on your truth. Here's a fact that seals their defeat. Truth always outlasts lies. Research shows that false stories crumble when real voices stack up, and your life stacked up too high for them to climb. They thought they could rewrite your story, but you were already the author of something far greater. Thank you for standing strong, chosen one. If this moved you, drop a 777 in the comments and hit that like button. Subscribe to join this family of truth spreaders, and let's keep this light shining. Now, let's close this out with how their failure became your forever win. They tried to drag you down, but their lies only lifted you up. Your enemies thought their investigator would bury your name in shame. But every question he asked turned into a megaphone for your truth. They wanted to paint you as the villain, but the world saw you as the hero. That's the kind of twist that leaves them reeling and you soaring. Imagine them watching as their plan backfired. They sent someone to find dirt, but he came back with gold. Stories of your hard work, your loyalty, your calm in the storm. Your coworkers didn't just clear you, they celebrated your focus. Your friends didn't just defend you, they shared your heart. Even strangers said you left a mark of respect. That's not just a win, it's a legacy that no lie can touch. Proverbs 12:19 says, "Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue lasts only a moment." Your truth endured, and their lies vanished like smoke. Why does this hurt them so much? Because they didn't just lose the fight. They gave you free publicity. Their attempt to smear you turned into a stage where your character shone. They thought they'd control the story, but the truth wrote a better ending. Every whisper they spread became a shout of your strengths, and now they're the ones left in the shadows. They fought to destroy you, but you won by simply being you. Your enemies thought they'd force you to fight, to defend yourself, to scramble under their pressure. But you didn't have to say a word. Your life spoke for you. Your silence, your steadiness, your truth did all the work, and that's what broke them. Picture this. They set up a battle, expecting you to step into the ring. They wanted you to argue, to react, to give them something to twist. But you stayed calm, letting their lies run out of steam. When the investigator came back with nothing but praise, their jaws dropped. Your coworkers said you were a rock. Your friends said you were real. Even strangers said you stood out for all the right reasons. That's not just a defense. It's a victory you didn't even have to fight for. Here's a truth that crushes them. A life lived right doesn't need a lawyer. Studies show that consistent character is the strongest shield against slander. You didn't have to plead your case because your actions already did. They thought they'd trap you, but your truth set you free and left them tangled in their own web. That's why they're furious. You didn't just survive their attack. You thrived without lifting a finger. They wanted to end your story, but you became the chapter they can't erase. Your enemies thought their lies would write your downfall, but your truth turned their plan into a testimony of your strength. Every move they made to tear you down only built you up, and now your name shines brighter than ever. This isn't just your victory, chosen one. It's a story that inspires everyone watching. Imagine them now, looking back at their failed plan, realizing they didn't just lose. They made you stronger. They sent an investigator to dig up dirt, but he found a garden of respect, trust, and heart. Your co-workers, your friends, even strangers, all said the same thing. You're the real deal. That's not just a plot twist. It's a whole new book, and you're the hero on every page. Here's the final truth that seals it. Your light can't be dimmed. Research shows that truth spreads faster than lies when real people speak up. Your life was a spark that lit up the world, and no rumor could put it out. They thought they'd write your ending, but you were writing a beginning, a story of strength, faith, and unshakable truth. So stand tall, chosen one. Your enemies didn't just lose, they proved you're unstoppable. Chosen one, this is your moment. Their lies tried to bury you, but your truth lifted you higher than they could ever imagine. You didn't just survive, you shone. If this story lit a fire in you, drop a bunch 777 in the comments to claim your victory. Hit that like button and subscribe to join this movement of truth and light. If you feel called, a super thanks keeps this mission going, spreading hope to more souls. Thank you for being here, chosen one. Your story isn't over, it's just getting started, and it's brighter than ever. Chosen one, you've walked through fire, and yet here you are, shining brighter than ever. Your enemies thought they could snuff out your light with their whispers and schemes, but every move they made only fueled your glow. They sent an investigator to dig up flaws, hoping to bury your name in shame. But the truth you've lived, your kindness, your strength, your unshakable heart, turned their plan into a stage for your triumph. The Bible declares in Matthew 5:16, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." That's exactly what happened. Your light didn't just shine, it burned through their lives, leaving them stunned and your name soaring. Stay with me, because this final part isn't just the end of their defeat. It's the beginning of your unstoppable story. Imagine your enemies plotting in the shadows, thinking they had you cornered. They hired someone to snoop through your life, certain they'd find something to twist into a weapon. They pictured you crumbling, your reputation in tatters, while they smirked from the sidelines. But when the investigator started asking questions, their plan fell apart like a house of cards in a storm. He didn't find dirt. He found diamonds. Your coworkers didn't just clear your name. They praised your grit, your focus, your ability to show up day after day with purpose. Your friends didn't just defend you. They shared stories of your loyalty, how you stood by them when no one else did. Even strangers, people who only crossed your path for a moment, said, "They're different. They've got something real." That's not just a win, Chosen One. That's a legacy that no lie can touch. Here's a truth that stings your enemies to the core. Lies can't stand when the truth is this loud. Research shows that over 70% of rumors collapse when checked against real-life evidence. Gossip thrives in whispers, but it dies when voices of truth step up. Your enemies thought they could control the story, spreading half-truths and hoping they'd stick. But the moment the investigator started talking to real people, their lies unraveled. Your life had already written a better story, one of respect, discipline, and heart. They wanted to bury you, but all they did was dig their own grave, exposing their jealousy for the world to see. Why does this burn them so much? Because every good word spoken about you was a mirror reflecting their own flaws. When your coworkers talked about your work ethic, it highlighted their laziness. When your friends praised your loyalty, it exposed their betrayal. When strangers admired your calm, it showed their chaos. They didn't just fail to tear you down, they accidentally built you up, turning their own scheme into a spotlight on your strength. That's the kind of plot twist that leaves them speechless, Chosen One. They thought they were writing your downfall, but they ended up writing your victory. Let's pause for a moment and think about what this means. Your enemies didn't just lose a battle, they lost the war they started. They thought they could control how the world sees you, but your life had already spoken louder than their lies. You didn't have to fight, argue, or defend yourself. You didn't have to raise your voice or plead your case. The truth did all the work, because you've been living it every single day. Your kindness wasn't a show, it was real. Your discipline wasn't a mask, it was your foundation. Your calm wasn't weakness, it was power. And that power is what broke them. If this is speaking to your soul, drop a 777 in the comments to claim this victory. Hit that like button to spread this truth. And subscribe to join our family of light bearers. If you feel called, a super thanks keeps this mission alive, helping us reach more people with this message of hope. But we're not done yet. Let's break down the final pieces of how their failure became your forever win. They tried to dim your light, but their lies only gave you a bigger stage. Your enemies thought their investigator would drag your name through the mud, but every question he asked turned into a microphone amplifying your truth. They wanted to make you small, but all they did was make you shine brighter, reaching corners of the world they never expected. This wasn't just a failed plan. It was free publicity for your character. Picture this. Your enemies sitting back, confident their rumors would spread like wildfire. They thought the investigator would come back with stories to shame you, something to twist into a headline that would ruin your name. But when he knocked on doors, he didn't find scandal. He found respect. Your coworkers didn't just say you were okay. They talked about how you stayed focused even when things got tough. Your friends didn't just back you up. They shared moments when you lifted them up without asking for anything in return. Even strangers, people who only saw you for a second, said, "They've got a good vibe." That's not just a defense. It's a standing ovation for the life you've lived. Here's a fact that cuts them deep. Truth spreads faster than lies when real people speak up. Studies show that false narratives collapse when too many voices confirm the same reality. Your enemies thought they could shape the story, but your life had already written a better one. Every person the investigator talked to became a witness, not just clearing your name, but celebrating it. They didn't just fail to tear you down. They handed you a megaphone, and now your reputation is trending in places you didn't even know existed. Why does this make them so angry? Because they wanted to control the spotlight, but it turned on them instead. Every compliment about your character was a reminder of what they lack. When people praised your patience, it exposed their impulsiveness. When they admired your kindness, it showed their cruelty. When they noticed your calm, it highlighted their chaos. They didn't just lose the fight. They gave you a stage to shine, and now they're stuck in the audience, watching your light take over. Psalm 37. 31 says, "The mouths of the righteous utter wisdom, and their tongues speak what is just. The law of their God is in their hearts. Their feet do not slip." Your heart stayed true, and your feet never slipped, chosen one. That's why their lies only lifted you higher. They wanted a battle, but you won by simply being you. Your enemies thought they'd force you to fight, to argue, to scramble under their pressure. They were sure you'd crack, giving them something to twist into proof you're not who you seem. But you didn't take the bait. You stayed calm, stayed steady, and let your life do the talking. And that's the kind of victory that leaves them stunned, because you didn't even have to lift a finger. Imagine them waiting for you to slip up, hoping you'd lash out or defend yourself so they could call you unstable. They wanted drama, something to feed their rumors. But you gave them nothing. No angry words, no desperate pleas, just silence and strength. When the investigator came back with stories of your character, their plan fell apart. Your coworkers said you were a rock, always showing up with purpose. Your friends said you were real, always there when it counted. Even strangers said you carried yourself differently. That's not just a win, it's a masterclass in how to beat lies without saying a word. Here's a truth that breaks them. A life lived right doesn't need a defense. Research shows that people with consistent character are nearly impossible to smear because their actions speak louder than any rumor. You didn't have to argue your case because your life already did. Every kind choice, every steady step, every moment you chose peace over chaos became evidence they couldn't twist. They thought they'd trap you in their web, but your truth cut through it like a knife. Proverbs 21:21 says, "Whoever pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honor." You pursued righteousness, chosen one, and honor found you. Why does this hurt them so much? Because they needed you to fight to win. They needed you to react, to give them something to work with. But your silence was stronger than any argument. Your calm, more powerful than any comeback. They mocked your quiet, thinking it was weakness, but it turned out to be the weapon that crushed their lies. You didn't just survive their attack, you thrived, and they're left wondering how you did it without even trying. They wanted to end your story, but you became the chapter they can't erase. Your enemies thought their lies would write your downfall, but your truth turned their plan into a testimony of your strength. Every move they made to tear you down only built you up, and now your name shines brighter than ever. This isn't just your victory, chosen one. It's a story that inspires everyone who hears it. Picture them now, staring at the ruins of their plan, realizing they didn't just lose. They made you unstoppable. They sent an investigator to dig up dirt, but he found a garden of respect, trust, and heart. Your coworkers didn't just clear you, they celebrated your work ethic. Your friends didn't just stand by you, they shared stories of your loyalty. Even strangers said you left a mark they couldn't forget. That's not just a plot twist, it's a whole new book, and you're the hero on every page. Here's the final truth that seals their defeat. Your light can't be dimmed. Studies show that truth spreads faster than lies when real people speak up, and your life was a spark that lit up the world. You didn't have to shout, fight, or prove yourself. Your actions did it all. They thought they'd write your ending, but you were writing a beginning, a story of strength, faith, and unshakable truth. Psalm 18:30 says, "As for God, his way is perfect. The Lord's word is flawless. He shields all who take refuge in him." You took refuge in truth, chosen one, and it shielded you from every lie. This is bigger than just surviving their attack. It's about thriving through it. Your enemies didn't just fail. They proved you're untouchable. They wanted to end your story, but you became the chapter that inspires the world. So stand tall, chosen one. Your light is brighter than ever, and no one can take that away. Chosen one, this is your moment. Their lies tried to bury you, but your truth lifted you higher than they could ever imagine. You didn't just survive, you shone, and your story is inspiring everyone watching. If this lit a fire in you, drop a 777 in the comments to claim your victory. Smash that like button and subscribe to join this movement of truth and light. If you feel called, a super thanks keeps this mission going, spreading hope to more souls. Thank you for being here, chosen one. Your story isn't over, it's just beginning, and it's brighter than ever. Chosen one, you're still here, and that's no coincidence, it's a calling. Your enemies thought they could break you with their lies, but they didn't realize you were anchored by something far stronger, your purpose. They sent an investigator to dig up flaws, hoping to shatter your name, but every step he took revealed the truth you've been living all along. Your purpose wasn't just a feeling, it was a force, a foundation that no rumor could shake. The Bible says in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That's the power of your purpose, chosen one. It guided you through their storm and turned their attack into your triumph. Stay with me, because this part is about how your purpose became their defeat and your greatest strength. Picture this. Your enemies thought they had you figured out. They saw your quiet life, your steady steps, and mistook them for weakness. They believed their investigator would find cracks in your character, something to prove you were just like them, flawed and frail. But when he started asking questions, he didn't find chaos. He found clarity. Your coworkers didn't just say you were reliable. They shared how you showed up every day with a mission, working hard even when no one was watching. Your friends didn't just defend you. They talked about how you lifted them up with your kindness, never asking for praise. Even strangers, people who only saw you for a moment, said, "They've got something special, something real." That's not just a reputation, chosen one. That's the mark of a purpose-driven life. Here's a truth that hits your enemies hard. Purpose is stronger than lies. Studies show that people with a clear sense of direction are harder to derail because their actions align with their values. Your enemies thought they could distract you, pull you off course with their rumors. But your purpose was like a compass, keeping you steady no matter how loud their whispers grew. They wanted to paint you as a fraud, but every person the investigator talked to saw something else, a person guided by something bigger, something unshakable. That's why their plan backfired. They didn't just fail to tear you down, they showed the world how strong your purpose really is. If this is speaking to you, drop a 777 in the comments to claim this moment. Hit that like button and subscribe to join our family of truth seekers. If you feel called, a super thanks keeps this message alive, spreading hope to more souls. Let's dive into how your purpose became the shield that protected you and the sword that cut through their lies. They thought they could sink you, but your purpose kept you steady. Your enemies believed their rumors would drag you under like a ship caught in a storm. They sent their investigator to find holes in your life, sure they'd uncover something to pull you apart. But every question he asked only showed how deeply anchored you are. Your purpose wasn't just a goal, it was a root system, holding you firm against their waves of lies. Imagine them watching, waiting for you to crumble. They thought their investigator would come back with stories of mistakes, scandals, or moments you slipped. But instead he found a life built on purpose. Your coworkers said you didn't just do your job, you did it with heart, always pushing forward even when things got tough. Your friends shared how you stayed true to your values, never bending to fit in with the crowd. Even strangers noticed something different about you. A quiet strength, a focus that set you apart. That's not just luck, chosen one. That's the power of living with intention. Here's a fact that stings them. People driven by purpose are harder to discredit. Research shows that those who live with clear values create a consistency that lies can't break. Your enemies thought they could find a weak spot, but your purpose was your anchor, keeping you grounded when their lies tried to pull you away. Psalm 16:8 says, I keep my eyes always on the Lord. With him in my right hand, I will not be shaken. You kept your eyes on your purpose, and no storm could move you. Why does this make them so mad? Because they needed you to be aimless to win. They wanted you to chase their drama, to get lost in their chaos. But you stayed focused, guided by a purpose they couldn't touch. Every kind word you spoke, every steady choice you made, was a brick in the foundation of your life. When the investigator came looking, he didn't find a sinking ship. He found a lighthouse, standing tall and guiding others through the storm. Your purpose didn't just protect you, it inspired everyone around you. Your enemies thought their lies would turn people against you, but the truth you lived sparked a fire in others. The investigator didn't just clear your name, he uncovered a story of how your purpose touched lives, leaving a trail of respect and admiration. That's the kind of power that turns their defeat into your legacy. Picture this. Your enemies thought their investigator would find people ready to tear you down. They were sure the crowd would echo their rumors, painting you as something you're not. But when he started asking questions, he found something else. A ripple effect of your purpose. Your coworkers didn't just talk about your work. They shared how your focus pushed them to do better. Your friends didn't just defend you. They told stories of how your kindness gave them hope. Even strangers said your calm presence made them, feel seen. That's not just a testimony, it's a movement, chosen one. Here's a truth that burns them. Purpose-driven lives create influence that lies can't erase. Studies show that people who live with intention inspire others to follow their lead, even without trying. Your enemies thought they could control the narrative, but your purpose had already written a better story. Every person the investigator talked to became a witness to your impact, not because you asked, but because your life spoke for itself. Proverbs 11:25 says, a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. You refreshed others with your purpose, and it came back to protect you. Oh, why does this hurt them so much? Because they wanted to isolate you, to make you feel alone. But your purpose built a community, a network of people who saw your light and carried it forward. They didn't just fail to tear you down. They showed the world how your purpose lifts others up. That's the kind of legacy that leaves them powerless, because your influence is stronger than their lies. They thought their lies would outrun you, but your purpose outlasted them. Your enemies believed their rumors would spread faster, hit harder, and leave you in the dust. But your purpose was like a marathon runner, steady and strong, crossing the finish line long after their lies ran out of breath. The investigator didn't just clear your name, he proved your purpose is unstoppable. Imagine them sprinting ahead, thinking their whispers would win the race. They sent their investigator to find something to slow you down, to trip you up. But every step he took showed a life built on endurance. Your coworkers said you kept going, even when the road was rough. Your friends said you stayed true, even when others turned away. Even strangers noticed your steady pace, saying, "They don't give up." It's not just a win, it's a legacy that keeps running, no matter what they throw at you. Here's a fact that crushes them. Purpose outlives gossip every time. Research shows that people who live with intention create a reputation that stands the test of time. Your enemies thought they could outpace you with their lies, but your purpose was built for the long haul. Every kind act, every honest choice, every moment you stayed true was a step toward a finish line they'll never reach. Psalm 37:18 says, "The blameless spend their days under the Lord's care, and their inheritance will endure forever." Your purpose is your inheritance, chosen one, and it's eternal. Why does this make them furious? Because they needed you to quit. They wanted you to stumble, to give up under their pressure. But your purpose kept you moving, steady and strong, while their lies burned out. They thought they could outrun you, but you were running a different race, one they'll never understand. Your purpose didn't just protect you, it proved you're built to last. Chosen one, you're still here, and that's proof your light is unstoppable. Your enemies thought they could put out your flame with their lies, but every whisper they spread only made your glow brighter. They sent an investigator to dim your shine, hoping to find shadows to exploit. But instead they uncovered a truth so powerful, it rippled through everyone you've touched, your coworkers, your friends, even strangers. Your light didn't just protect you, it sparked a wave that's changing lives. The Bible says in John 8:12, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." That's you, chosen one. Your light is leading others out of darkness, and your enemies can't stop it. Stay with me, because this part is about how your influence became a movement they never saw coming. Picture this. Your enemies thought they could control the story, spreading rumors to turn people against you. They were sure their investigator would find something to make you look small, some flaw, some mistake to wave like a flag. But when he started asking questions, he didn't find darkness. He found a spark. Your coworkers didn't just say you were good at your job. They shared how your hard work inspired them to step up. Your friends didn't just stand by you. They told stories of how your kindness gave them hope in tough times. Even strangers, people who only met you for a moment, said, "They're different. They've got something real." That's not just a win, chosen one, that's a ripple effect, spreading your light farther than their lies could ever reach. Here's a truth that stings your enemies. Your influence is stronger than their gossip. Studies show that people who live with authenticity inspire others without even trying, creating a chain reaction of positivity. Your enemies thought they could isolate you, make you feel alone, but your light touched lives in ways they couldn't predict. Every kind word you spoke, every steady choice you made, sent ripples through the people around you. The investigator didn't just clear your name. He uncovered a story of impact that's still growing. That's why their plan backfired. They didn't just fail to tear you down. They showed the world how your light lifts others up. If this is firing you up, drop a 777 in the comments to claim this moment. Smash that like button and subscribe to join our family of light bearers. If you feel called, a super thanks keeps this mission alive, spreading hope to more souls. Let's dive into how your influence became the wave that drowned their lives. Your enemies thought they could dim you, but your light started a fire they can't put out. They believed their rumors would make people doubt you, turn them against you. But when the investigator started digging, he found something else. A spark that ignited everyone you met. Your life wasn't just about surviving their lies. It was about inspiring others to shine too. Imagine them watching, stunned, as their plan fell apart. They thought the investigator would come back with stories to shame you, something to prove you weren't who you seemed. But instead he found a fire burning bright. Your coworkers didn't just defend you. They shared how your focus pushed them to work harder, to show up better. One said, "They always stayed on track even when things got crazy. That made me want to do the same." Your friends didn't just clear your name. They told stories of how your support carried them through dark days. One shared, "They were there when I had nothing, and they never asked for credit." Even strangers, people who only saw you once, said they had this calm energy. It stuck with me. That's not just a reputation, chosen one. That's a spark that's lighting up the world. Here's a fact that burns them. Authentic people create influence that lies can't touch. Research shows that genuine actions inspire others more than any stage performance. Your enemies thought they could turn people against you, but your light had already touched too many hearts. Every person the investigator talked to became a witness to your impact. Not because you planned it, but because your life was real. Psalm 119, 105 says, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path." Your light didn't just guide you, it lit the way for others, and that's what your enemies can't stand. Why does this make them so mad? Because they wanted to make you invisible, but your influence made you undeniable. They thought their lies would shrink you, but your light grew bigger with every person who spoke your truth. They didn't just lose the fight. They started a fire they can't control, and it's spreading your light farther than they ever imagined. They wanted to isolate you, but your light built a community they can't break. Your enemies thought their rumors would leave you alone, with no one to stand by you. They sent their investigator to find cracks in your life. Sure, they'd uncover something to push people away. But instead he found a network of people connected by your influence. A community built on the truth you live every day. Picture this. Your enemies thought they had the upper hand, spreading whispers to make you a loner. They were sure the investigator would find people ready to turn their backs on you. But when he started asking questions, he found something else. A group of people who'd been touched by your light. Your coworkers didn't just say you were reliable. They shared how your encouragement made them feel seen, like when you stayed late to help a teammate finish a project. Your friends didn't just defend you. They talked about how your belief in them gave them strength, like when you listened without judging during their toughest moments. Even strangers said your kindness left a mark, like the time you smiled at someone having a bad day and changed their mood. That's not just influence, chosen one. That's a community, and it's stronger than any lie. Here's a truth that crushes them. Real influence builds bonds that gossip can't break. Studies show that people who live with purpose create connections that last, even with those they barely know. Your enemies thought they could cut you off, but your light had already woven a web of respect and trust. The investigator didn't just find a clean record. He found a family of people who'd been changed by your heart. Proverbs 27:17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." You sharpened everyone around you, chosen one, and they stood up for you in return. Why does this hurt them so much? Because they needed you to be alone to win. They wanted you to feel like no one had your back. But your light built a community so strong that even strangers became your allies. They didn't just fail to isolate you. They showed the world how your influence brings people together. They thought their lies would stop you, but your light keeps spreading. Your enemies believed their rumors would put a cap on your influence, keeping you small and contained. But every question the investigator asked only showed how far your light reaches. Your life didn't just survive their attack, it grew, touching more people than they could ever imagine. Imagine them realizing their mistake, watching as their plan backfired. They thought the investigator would find something to shrink your world, a flaw to make people turn away. But instead he found a light that's still growing. Your coworkers shared how your example pushed them to aim higher, like when you kept a positive attitude during a tough project and inspired the team. Your friends told stories of how your faith in them changed their lives, like when you encouraged them to chase a dream they'd given up on. Even strangers said your small acts of kindness stuck with them, like when you held the door for someone and made their day brighter. That's not just a moment, chosen one. That's a movement, and it's still spreading. Here's a fact that seals their defeat. Influence rooted in truth grows stronger over time. Research shows that authentic actions create a ripple effect that keeps expanding even years later. Your enemies thought they could stop your light, but every person the investigator talked to became a carrier of it, spreading your truth farther than their lies could go. Psalm 36:9 says, "For with you is the fountain of life. In your light we see light." Your light didn't just shine, it became a fountain, refreshing everyone it touched. Why does this make them furious? Because they wanted to limit you, to keep your influence small. But your light broke through their barriers, reaching people they'll never control. They didn't just lose the fight. They gave your light a bigger stage, and now it's shining brighter than ever. Your influence isn't just surviving, it's thriving, and it's changing the world one ripple at a time. Chosen one, you're still standing, and that's a testament to your unbreakable spirit. Your enemies thought they could tear you down with lies, but their failure became a lesson for the world. They sent an investigator to dig up flaws, hoping to dim your light. But every question he asked only revealed the strength of your truth. Their defeat wasn't just your victory. It was a masterclass in what happens when lies collide with authenticity. The Bible says in Proverbs 19:6, "A false witness will not go unpunished, and whoever pours out lies will not go free." That's exactly what happened. Their lies trapped them, while your truth set you free. Stay with me, because this part is about the lessons their failure taught. Lessons that will inspire you and everyone watching to keep shining. Picture this. Your enemies thought they had the upper hand, spreading rumors to paint you as something you're not. They were sure their investigator would find dirt to bury you with, a mistake, a secret, anything to make you look small. But when he started asking questions, he didn't find shadows, he found light. Your coworkers didn't just clear your name, they shared how your hard work inspired them to push harder, like when you stayed late to help a struggling teammate. Your friends didn't just defend you, they told stories of your loyalty, like when you stood by them through their darkest days. Even strangers, people who only crossed your path for a moment, said, "They're kind, they're real." That's not just a win, Chosen One. That's a lesson in how truth always rises above lies. Here's a fact that stings your enemies. Lies can't survive when truth has witnesses. Studies show that false narratives collapse when real people share consistent stories about someone's character. Your enemies thought they could rewrite your story, but your life had already written a better one. Their failure taught the world that authenticity can't be faked, and lies can't outlast a life lived right. That's why their plan backfired. They didn't just fail to tear you down. They showed everyone what happens when you try to fight the truth. If this is speaking to your heart, drop a 777 in the comments to claim this truth. Smash that like button and subscribe to join our family of light spreaders. If you feel called, a super thanks keeps this mission going, reaching more souls with this message of hope. Let's dive into the lessons their defeat taught us all, because these truths will carry you forward. The first lesson their failure taught is that truth always wins. Your enemies thought their lies would outshine your reality, spreading whispers to make people doubt you. They sent their investigator to find something, anything, to prove you weren't who you seemed. But every person he talked to told a different story, one of respect, kindness, and strength. That's the power of truth, Chosen One. It doesn't need a megaphone to be heard. Imagine them plotting, thinking their rumors would spread like wildfire. They were sure the investigator would come back with stories to shame you, something to make the world turn away. But instead he found a chorus of voices singing your praises. Your coworker said you worked hard even when no one was watching, like the time you took on extra tasks to help your team succeed. Your friends shared how you stayed true, like when you listened without judging during their toughest moments. Even strangers said your small acts of kindness stuck with them, like when you helped someone carry their bags without expecting thanks. That's not just a defense. It's proof that truth always rises to the top. Here's the truth that burns them. Real character outlasts fake stories. Research shows that consistent behavior builds a reputation that lies can't break. Your enemies thought they could twist the narrative, but your life was already a book of truth, with every page stamped by your actions. Psalm 25:21 says, "May integrity and uprightness protect me, because my hope, Lord, is in you." Your integrity protected you, Chosen One, and their lies couldn't touch it. Why does this lesson hurt them so much? Because they bet on lies to win, but truth doesn't play their game. They thought they could control what people think, but your life spoke louder than their whispers. Their failure taught the world that truth isn't just strong, it's unstoppable. And every time they tried to dim your light, they only made it shine brighter. The second lesson their failure taught is that envy exposes itself. Your enemies didn't attack you because of who you are. They attacked you because of who they're not. They sent their investigator to find flaws in you. But every question he asked turned the mirror back on them. Their lies didn't just fail, They showed the world their jealousy, their insecurity, their desperation to feel bigger by making you smaller. Picture this. Your enemies thought they could hide their motives, spreading rumors to make you look bad. They were sure the investigator would find something to back their story, a mistake, a moment of weakness. But instead he found a reflection of their own flaws. Your coworkers said you were steady, like when you stayed calm during a stressful project while others panicked. Your friends shared how you lifted them up, like when you encouraged them to keep going despite their doubts. Even strangers said you had a warmth that stood out, like when you smiled at someone having a bad day. And that's not just a testimony. It's a mirror that showed their envy for what it was. Here's a fact that cuts them deep. Envy reveals more about the attacker than the target. Studies show that people who spread gossip often project their own weaknesses onto others. Your enemies didn't see you clearly. They saw the parts of themselves they hate. When the investigator came back with praise for you, it exposed their bitterness. Proverbs 14:30 says, "A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots bones." Their envy rotted their plan, chosen one, while your peace kept you strong. Why does this lesson sting them? Because they wanted to hide their flaws, but their lies put them on display. Every compliment about you was a reminder of what they lack. Your calm, your kindness, your strength. Their failure didn't just clear your name. It showed the world who they really are. That's a lesson they'll never forget, and it's one that keeps your light shining. The third lesson their failure taught is that your life is your best defense. Your enemies thought they could force you to fight, to argue, to prove yourself under their pressure. They sent their investigator to find something to twist against you. Sure, you'd have to scramble to clear your name, but you didn't have to say a word. Your life spoke for you, louder than any argument could. Imagine them waiting for you to crack, hoping you'd lash out or defend yourself so they could call you unstable. They thought their rumors would push you to the edge, giving them something to work with. But when the investigator started digging, he didn't find drama. He found a life built on truth. Your coworkers said you were a rock, like when you kept your cool during a workplace crisis. Your friends shared how you stayed true, like when you supported them without expecting anything back. Even strangers said you left a good vibe, like when you helped someone in a small way that meant the world. And that's not just a shield, chosen one, that's a fortress. Here's a truth that crushes them. A life lived right doesn't need a lawyer. Research shows that consistent character is the strongest defense against slander, because actions speak louder than words. You didn't have to plead your case or fight their lies. Your life did it for you. Every kind choice, every steady step, every moment you chose peace over chaos was evidence they couldn't twist. Psalm 37. 37 says, "Consider the blameless, observe the upright. A future awaits those who seek peace." You sought peace, chosen one, and it became your greatest defense. Why does this lesson hurt them so much? Because they needed you to fight to win. They wanted you to react, to give them something to twist. But your life was already a testimony, and their lies couldn't stand against it. Their failure taught the world that when you live with truth, you don't need to defend yourself. Your life does it for you. Chosen one, you're still here, and that's proof your story is far from over. Your enemies thought they could end your journey with their lies, but their failure only opened the door to your next chapter. They sent an investigator to dig up flaws, hoping to write your defeat. But every question he asked revealed a truth that's still unfolding. Your life, your kindness, your strength, your purpose isn't just a shield against their rumors. It's a roadmap for what's next. The Bible says in Isaiah 40:31, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. That's you, chosen one. Ready to soar into a new chapter. Stronger than ever. Stay with me. Because this part is about how your victory sets the stage for what's coming, and it's going to inspire everyone watching to write their own story. Picture this. Your enemies thought they had you cornered, spreading whispers to make the world doubt you. They were sure their investigator would find something to stop your journey, a mistake, a secret, anything to hold you back. But when he started asking questions, he didn't find roadblocks. He found a path paved with your truth. Your coworkers didn't just clear your name. They shared how your hard work inspired them, like when you stayed late to help a teammate meet a deadline. Your friends didn't just defend you. They told stories of your heart, like when you lifted them up during their darkest days. Even strangers said your kindness left a mark, like when you shared a smile that turned their day around. That's not just a win, chosen one. That's the foundation for your next chapter, and it's brighter than anything they could imagine. Here's a truth that stings your enemies. Your story doesn't end with their lies. It begins with your truths. Studies show that people who live authentically keep growing, even through challenges, because their purpose fuels them forward. Your enemies thought they could stop you, but their failure only cleared the way for what's next. Every person the investigator talked to became a witness to your strength, not just proving you're real, but showing you're ready for more. That's why their plan backfired. They didn't just fail to tear you down. They set the stage for your next big move. If this is lighting a fire in you, drop a 777 in the comments to claim this moment. Smash that like button and subscribe to join our family of truth seekers. If you feel called, a super thanks keeps this mission alive, spreading hope to more souls. Let's dive into how your next chapter is unfolding, because this is where you step into your destiny. Their lies tried to stop you, but your victory is the launch pad for your next chapter. Your enemies thought their rumors would hold you back, keeping you stuck in their shadows. They sent their investigator to find something to anchor you to their lies, a flaw, a mistake, anything to slow you down. But every question he asked only showed how ready you are to move forward. Your truth didn't just protect you, it propelled you towards something greater. Imagine them watching, stunned, as their plan crumbled. They thought the investigator would come back with stories to trap you, something to prove you couldn't go further. But instead he found a launch pad built by your life. Your coworkers said you were a leader, like when you took charge during a tough project, and inspired everyone to keep going. Your friends shared how your faith in them gave them courage, like when you encouraged them to chase a dream they thought was out of reach. Even strangers said your presence felt different, like when you helped someone in a small way that meant everything. That's not just a defense, chosen one. That's a springboard to your next big step. Here's a fact that burns them. Authentic lives keep moving forward no matter what. Research shows that people who stay true to their values are more likely to grow through adversity because their purpose keeps them focused. Your enemies thought they could hold you back, but your truth pushed you forward. Every person the investigator talked to didn't just clear your name. They showed you're built for more. Psalm 23:3 says, "He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake." Your path is clear, chosen one, and their lies only made it brighter. Why does this make them so mad? Because they wanted to trap you in their story, but your victory launched you into your own. They thought their rumors would keep you small, but your truth made you unstoppable. Every kind act, Every steady choice, every moment you stayed true was a step toward your next chapter. Their failure didn't just clear your name. It showed the world you're ready to soar. Your enemies thought their lies would derail you, but your purpose is the fuel for your future. They believed their investigator would find something to stop your journey, a crack in your character, a moment of weakness. But every question he asked only showed how your purpose drives you forward, lighting the way for what's next. Your life isn't just about surviving their attack. It's about thriving in the destiny you're building. Picture this. Your enemies thought they could put up roadblocks, spreading rumors to make people doubt your path. They were sure the investigator would find something to slow you down, a scandal, a mistake, anything to throw you off course. But instead he found a life fueled by purpose. Your coworkers said you worked with passion, like when you tackled a tough task with a smile and inspired others to do the same. Your friends shared how your belief in them changed their lives, like when you pushed them to keep going when they wanted to give up. Even strangers said your energy stood out, like when you helped someone without expecting anything back. That's not just a story, chosen one. That's a purpose that's carrying you forward. Here's a truth that crushes them. Purpose-driven people don't stop. Studies show that those who live with intention are more resilient because their goals keep them moving through challenges. Your enemies thought they could derail you, but your purpose was like a rocket, pushing you past their lies. Every person the investigator talked to became a witness to your drive, not just proving you're real, but showing you're headed somewhere big. Proverbs 4:18 says, "The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day." Your purpose is that sun, chosen one, and it's lighting up your future. Why does this hurt them so much? Because they needed you to stall, to lose your way. They wanted their lies to stop your journey. But your purpose kept you moving, and their failure only fueled your fire. Every kind word, every honest step, every moment you stayed focused was a spark for your next chapter. They didn't just lose, they showed the world you're unstoppable. Your enemies thought their lies would silence you, but your story is inspiring others to rise. They believed their investigator would find something to shut you down, to make the world forget you. But every question he asked only amplified your voice, showing how your life encourages everyone around you. Your story isn't just about your victory, it's about lighting the way for others to find their own. Imagine them realizing their mistake, watching as their plan backfired. They thought the investigator would find something to make you invisible, a flaw, a secret, anything to quiet your influence. But instead he found a story that's inspiring the world. Your coworkers said your example pushed them to be better, like when you stayed positive during a tough project and lifted the team's spirits. Your friends shared how your courage gave them strength, like when you believed in them when no one else did. Even strangers said your kindness inspired them, like when you helped someone in a small way that changed their day. That's not just a win, chosen one. That's a legacy that's sparking others to shine. Here's a fact that seals their defeat. Authentic stories inspire action. Research shows that people who live with purpose motivate others to follow their lead, creating a ripple effect of change. Your enemies thought they could silence you, but your story became a megaphone, reaching people they'll never touch. Every person the investigator talked to didn't just defend you. They shared how your life inspired them to keep going. Psalm 78:4 says, "We will tell the next generation the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord, his power, and the wonders he has done." Your story is a wonder, chosen one, and it's inspiring a new generation. Why does this make them furious? Because they wanted to erase you, but your story is writing hope in others' hearts. They thought their lies would make you forgettable, but your life became unforgettable. Every person you've touched carries your light, spreading it farther than their lies could ever go. Your next chapter isn't just yours. It's a call for others to rise, and that's a power they'll never stop. Chosen one, you've walked through the fire of lies, and here you are, shining brighter than ever. Your enemies thought they could end your story with their rumors, but their failure only wrote the opening lines of your eternal victory. They sent an investigator to dig up flaws, hoping to bury your light, but every question he asked revealed a truth that will outlast them all. Your life, your kindness, your purpose, your unshakable heart didn't just defeat their lies, it built a legacy that will inspire generations. The Bible says in Psalm 35, "Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning." The night of their lies is over, chosen one, and your morning has begun. Stay with me for this final part, because this is where your victory becomes eternal, and your story lights the way for everyone watching. Picture this. Your enemies thought they had you trapped, spreading whispers to make the world doubt you. They were sure their investigator would find something to stop you, a mistake, a secret, anything to dim your shine. But when he started asking questions, he didn't find shadows. He found a light that refuses to fade. Your coworkers didn't just clear your name. They shared how your strength lifted them, like when you kept the team going during a tough project. Your friends didn't just defend you. They told stories of your loyalty, like when you stood by them when no one else did. Even strangers said your kindness left a mark, like when you helped someone without expecting a thank you. That's not just a win, chosen one. That's a victory that echoes forever, a legacy that no lie can touch. Here's a truth that seals their defeat. Your light is eternal. Studies show that authentic lives create impact that lasts beyond a single moment, inspiring others long after the lies fade. Your enemies thought they could stop you, but their failure only proved your truth is unstoppable. Every person the investigator talked to became a witness to your legacy, not just proving you're real, but showing you're here to stay. That's why their plan backfired. They didn't just fail to tear you down. They built a monument to your strength. If this is setting your soul on fire, drop a 777 in the comments to claim this eternal victory. Smash that like button and subscribe to join our family of light bearers. If you feel called, a super thanks keeps this mission alive, spreading hope to more hearts. Let's close this out with the final pieces of your eternal victory, because this is where your story becomes a beacon for the world. Their lies were temporary, but your truth is timeless. Your enemies thought their rumors would outlast you, spreading fast and burning bright to overshadow your life. They sent their investigator to find something to make you fade, a flaw, a moment of weakness, anything to erase your name. But every question he asked showed a truth that will stand forever. Your life didn't just survive their attack. It became a legacy that time can't touch. Imagine them watching, stunned as their lies crumbled. They thought the investigator would come back with stories to bury you, something to prove you were forgettable. But instead he found a truth that's etched in stone. Your coworkers said you were a rock, like when you stayed calm during a workplace crisis and kept everyone focused. Your friends shared how your heart changed their lives, like when you believed in them when they doubted themselves. Even strangers said your kindness lingered, like when you gave a small gesture that brightened their day. That's not just a defense, chosen one. That's a truth that will outlive every lie. Here's a fact that crushes them. Truth rooted in authenticity lasts forever. Research shows that genuine actions create a legacy that gossip can't erase, because people remember what's real. Your enemies thought their lies would define you, but your truth wrote a story they can't rewrite. Every person the investigator talked to became a keeper of your legacy, not just clearing your name, but carving it into history. Psalm 112:6 says, "Surely the righteous will never be shaken. They will be remembered forever." Your righteousness kept you steady, chosen one, and your truth will be remembered long after their lies are forgotten. Why does this make them so mad? Because they needed their lies to last, but your truth is eternal. They wanted to make you a footnote, but your life became a chapter that inspires the world. Every kind word, every steady choice, every moment you stayed true was a brick and a monument they can't tear down. Their failure didn't just clear your name. It made your truth timeless, a light that will shine for generations. Their failure didn't just lift you. It inspired generations to come. Your enemies thought their lies would end your influence, making you a story no one would tell. They sent their investigator to find something to silence you. Sure, they'd uncover a flaw to stop your light, but every question he asked showed a legacy that's already changing the world. Your life isn't just about your victory. It's about the generations you're inspiring to live with truth. Picture this. Your enemies thought they could erase you, spreading rumors to make people forget your name. They were sure the investigator would find something to make you small, a mistake, a moment you slipped. But instead he found a legacy that's growing. Your coworkers said your example pushed them to be better, like when you worked hard to help the team succeed. Your friends shared how your courage gave them strength, like when you encouraged them to keep going despite their fears. Even strangers said your kindness inspired them, like when you helped someone in a small way that changed their perspective. That's not just a win, chosen one. That's a legacy that will spark hope for years to come. Here's a truth that burns them. Your influence doesn't stop with you. Studies show that authentic lives create a ripple effect, inspiring others to act with purpose long after the moment passes. Your enemies thought they could silence you, but your story became a megaphone for truth. Every person the investigator talked to didn't just defend you. They shared how your life inspired them to be better. Proverbs 13:22 says, "A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children." Your legacy, chosen one, is an inheritance of truth, and it's touching generations they'll never reach. Why does this hurt them so much? Because they wanted to end your story, but your life started a movement. They thought their lies would make you forgettable, but your truth became unforgettable. Every person you've touched carries your light, passing it to others who will carry it further. Their failure didn't just lift you. It inspired a world that's still rising, and that's a victory they can't take away. They tried to stop you, but your light is unstoppable. Your enemies thought their lies would dim your shine, putting an end to your influence. They sent their investigator to find something to hold you back, a secret, a flaw, anything to put out your flame. But every question he asked only showed a light that keeps burning, brighter and stronger with every challenge. Your victory isn't just about surviving their attack. It's about proving your light will shine forever. Imagine them now, realizing their mistake, watching as their plan fell apart. They thought the investigator would find something to stop your light, a mistake, a moment of weakness, anything to make you fade. But instead he found a flame that can't be extinguished. Your coworkers said you were unshakable, like when you stayed strong during tough times and kept the team together. Your friends shared how your heart lifted them, like when you supported them through their struggles without asking for anything back. Even strangers said your kindness stood out, like when you gave a small act of care that changed their day. That's not just a story, Chosen One. That's a light that no darkness can touch. Here's the final truth that seals their defeat. Your light is unstoppable because it's rooted in truth. Research shows that authentic lives create impact that grows stronger over time because truth resonates deeper than lies. Your enemies thought they could put out your flame, but every person the investigator talked to became a carrier of your light, spreading it further than their lies could go. Psalm 27:1 says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" Your light comes from a source they can't touch, Chosen One, and it's shining brighter than ever. Why does this make them furious? Because they needed your light to fade, but it only grew stronger. They wanted to stop your influence, but your truth made you unstoppable. Every kind act, Yijing Shi, every honest step, every moment you stayed true, was a spark that fueled your light. Their failure didn't just clear your name. It proved your light will shine forever. And that's the eternal victory they'll never take away. Chosen One, this is your eternal victory. Their lies tried to bury you, but your truth made you shine brighter than ever. Your story isn't just a win, it's a legacy that will inspire generations. If this lit a fire in your soul, drop a 777 in the comments to claim your victory. Smash that like button and subscribe to join our family of light bearers. If you feel called, a super thanks keeps this mission going, spreading hope to more hearts. Thank you for being here, Chosen One. Your light is unstoppable, your truth is timeless, and your story is just beginning. Keep shining, because the world needs your light.